This episode is brought to you by ButcherBox. For free bacon and $20 off your first box, go to butcherbox.com/madcast and enter madcast. Welcome to the best debate in the universe. Every debate in the universe, from love songs to dirty dogs. With over 4 million downloads, I'm your host, Maddox. With me, it's the Rear Admiral of Tangents, Ron Babcock.
Thank you, Maddox.
And special guests this week, Camila Paiva and Dreadmere.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show.
Nice.
Yeah. Amazing show this week. We've got a new sponsor, ButcherBox, in the house. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show because we're eating some of the ButcherBox meats that they've sent us. They're fantastic. But we should talk about the debate this week. Today, we're going to be debating, is social media making us depressed? And with us, we have two amazing guests. We have the returning Dreadmere and first-time guest, singer-songwriter Camila Paiva. Camila, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Love the
And
claps.
Dreadmere, welcome back. Always good to have you. You just got back from MythCon.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
With Blair, actually.
With Blair
I
White.
flew with Blair and Jacqueline and Joey.
Oh, great. They're just wonderful people. They're so much fun.
All good things to
Yeah.
say.
Was it
Yeah.
MythCon?
MythCon.
MythCon.
Yeah. Mythicist Milwaukee was the people they put it on, and it's like a philosophy, political convention where a bunch of commentary YouTubers and personalities and, whatever, go and they start talking about politics on a
How
live
deep
show.
did those convos get?
Not
late
as
at
deep as
night?
I would like them to go. I expressed a lot of my issues with it to everybody, so I think they all
Just
knew.
a real fun.
But it was a good.
convention.
There was good discussions. They were good. They were entertaining.
Camila, do you follow any of this shit?
I honestly have no fucking idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
I don't know.
Well, before we get too lost in the woods here with MythCon and everything, Camila, we should mention you are a singer-songwriter. Now, here's something kind of interesting. I mentioned on this very podcast, I kind of indirectly referenced you because we met at a weed party.
Yes.
That I popped into.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a secret party that I
Yep.
went to, and that was like the first joint I ever smoked.
Very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. Are you? Yeah, and so we kept in touch, and you have this this amazing music career that you released. You've been releasing EPs, and is that a full album that you released?
It's actually just I've been just releasing singles.
Okay.
It's just I think a lot of people are doing it right now. It's just easier.
Singles, the hot thing, huh?
Easier to promote, easier to keep people's attention that way. You put one, I feel like if you put an EP out, one fan will be hooked on that EP for 1 week and then get over it. Or you give them a single and they'll be hooked on that single for 1 week. And then a week or two later, they'll be hooked on another single for a week. So it gives them...
yeah, so you're like Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah,
you know that
hopefully
rapper?
just not as obnoxious and...
I don't know. I haven't heard your music. You might be more obnoxious, but
promise
every
you.
time he
Gonna find out.
releases a song, it's like an event. Like he's like 10 for 10. Like every song, like 50, 200 million views. It's crazy, and they're all singles. Like
I'm definitely not getting those kind of views. I wish.
you gotta
You
dye your
will.
hair.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of switching course from stand-up comedian to SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Lil Babcock.
Now,
Yeah.
Little Babcock.
Just gonna rap purely about hummus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
It's gonna be pretty tight.
It
Niche
could work.
market.
So all you need is a tweet that goes viral, and then promote it on your first reply. Like, oh, by the way, guys.
By the
check
way,
out my
guys,
Yeah,
SoundCloud. It's so sad that that's the way
listen to
people
my
have
new
to.
single, Hummus Factory.
That's the only way anyone gets any traction on Twitter. You can get a tweet. I've seen tweets on Twitter with like 200,000 retweets and likes, and then I check the account that posted it, right? Because it's the original account. 600 followers. What the fuck? Like, how do people even grow on Twitter? How do people even grow on social media if you get something that's a legitimate, bona fide viral hit and nobody's clicking like or follow?
And we could even go one step further, which is, what does it even matter?
Ron, you know what? It does matter because that's
That was not the right button.
not the right button. Yeah, knocked the wind out of my sail. Anyway, Camila, so we're going to find out. All right, we're going to find out if you're the next Tekashi 69. Is it 69
I
or
really-
6ix9ine.
I
is-
hope
yeah.
not, man.
69, please.
He's got.
hope
That's sick. That's
It's
sick
not
as fuck.
69?
It's 6ix9ine.
It's 69.
Yeah.
No, it's 6ix9ine.
He said 69?
6ix9ine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tekashi
You're
6ix9ine.
being a
No, it
dude.
actually is 6ix9ine.
That's his
Come
name.
on.
He has 6ix9ine tattooed on his body. That's tight.
They either call him like
Please, Tekashi 69
or
is my-
Tekashi 6ix9ine or
Tekashi
just 6ix9ine.
Tekashi 69 is my dad. You can call me Tekashi 69.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the first time I ever went to a video game store and I had no idea anything about Dragon Ball Z, and I hadn't ever said the name of the show out loud before. So I went up to the guy, the clerk, and I'm like, "Yeah, so how's that Dragon Balls game?" And he He just
Dragon Ball
Snickers, and he's like, "Hey, Tom, how's that Dragon Balls game we have?" And they both start laughing and pointing at me and just like having a good fucking time.
Even all the nerds were he doesn't even know what Dragon Balls is.
It's Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how would you fucking know that if you never seen it? You never heard it spoken out loud, dipshit.
Right.
I'm not the stupid one. You're the stupid one. It's like right on.
You did say,
title.
"Hey, how's that Dragon Balls game?"
Dragon Balls. I lost my nerd cred. Like the one place I feel safe in life is in a video game store.
I
I
hate when people make fun of you for shit that like at one point they didn't know either.
Right.
And as soon as they know, they pull up the drawbridge and they're just dipshits to you. You're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
You guys win this one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the asshole. You're the asshole. Anyway.
I'll be revoking my GameStop membership now.
Yeah.
I still bought a game that day.
What game? Anything good?
I think it was Sylphed for Sega CD. Old school, very old school. It was a big hit.
Such a nerd.
Like a
what
week.
are you talking about?
It was a space shooter, Dreadmere, where you took on a galactic. It was one of the first full motion video games, but like the backgrounds were rendered in polygons.
You're not.
Yeah,
He's
fucking
not.
Dreadmere polygons.
You got me. I'm convinced you're not a nerd. Okay.
Yeah, no,
like
definitely
Star
not.
Fox was in real time, and Sylphed was part real time and part pre-rendered. Dipshit.
Gee, I feel like I'm in a GameStop right now, getting made fun of.
Dude, I once went in to buy one game at a GameStop, and I walked out with like 3 games, a membership. Those guys are some of the best sales associates I have ever seen.
Yeah, there's some hustlers.
They
there.
have their shit down.
Yeah.
You know, it's even more dangerous now, like gaming. Like I like if I ever play, I've used Xbox One. I like RPGs. Like I love Skyrim and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's so dangerous because you can just download everything online. And I'm like, oh, wow, they have a pack of fucking mounts. Like, I don't need a dinosaur to ride around, but it's only $23 for a digital dinosaur that I can ride around. I'm definitely going to buy it. And then by the end of the year, I've spent like fucking $300 on like backpacks and fake horses for Skyrim.
Clothes. You're spending real money on fake clothes.
Yeah,
When I don't even
seriously.
spend real money on real clothes.
I need some new clothes.
I know.
My clothes suck
I know.
right now. I'm running out. Yeah, it's crazy.
Don't fucking I know me, shithead.
I'm agreeing with
I'm
you.
tired of that.
I'm on your side, Maddox.
No, you're not. With skinny jeans over here. We got Taylor Nikolai in the chat room. Guys, if you're in the chat room, we do these streams live. I will be reading some of your super chats all throughout. He says, this podcast should be Ron Babcock and no one else. You know, fuck you. Don't come back for a Taylor. You know, I revoked. That policy has been changed. No Taylor song on this podcast. Done. You know what songs we do
Thanks,
have on...
Taylor. You could do it on my podcast anytime.
No. You know what songs we do play on this podcast, though? Camilla, I brought a sample from one of your songs.
you did?
This
Oh,
one's
shit.
called Stop Angeles.
Okay,
right?
cool.
Okay, so it's one of your it just came out not too long ago, right?
Yeah, I think like a week and a half ago, actually.
A week and a half ago. Holy shit, this is basically a new song.
New. It's a
New
baby.
song. Is this the one now you shot a music video and you were looking for people to go downtown to like a club or something?
That was a different one, yeah.
that was a different one.
This
That's
one
not out
we
yet.
did shoot a video for in my apartment, really creepy videos.
For this
It's going
for
to
this
be
song?
pretty interesting, yeah.
Now, I listened to the lyrics of this song,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a beautiful song. It's very melancholy, but the lyrics is like it hits so close to home. And if you guys listen to the full song, I highly recommend it. Look it up. It's called Stop Angeles. But here's a little clip. Listen to this.
Falling to pieces, scattered in bits across the ground. Everyone's speechless. Nobody stops to help you out. Don't make no eye contact, no. Baby, that means you see me.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I really like that. I really like that song. It's like
Thanks.
very smooth, really good sound. And it's very much about like the LA kind of like what it's kind of like in Los Angeles and how people come to sometimes like stab you in the back and use you and abuse you and stuff like that. It seems like it comes from a place of a lot of experience, and I hate to say that because it's a horrible experience.
Yeah.
But is that something?
Can
Is that
be.
something? Has that been your experience in Los Angeles?
I mean, I've definitely met a lot of people in the industry that come off very just fake, man. Everybody,
doing?
you know.
Ron Babcock, I have a podcast.
I haven't gotten that yet here. No, but just it sucks. You know, people are so open and willing to talk about like what you should change about the way you look and just shit that shouldn't have anything. Yeah, it shouldn't have anything to do with your music. And I mean, plastic surgery right now. which I'm not against. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against plastic surgery. If it's going to make you feel better about yourself as a person, please do it.
Yeah.
But it's becoming almost like a part of it, like promoted. It's like you need to do it, and people are talking about it. Like, you know,
Yeah, like they have the answers. A lot of people
Like-
try to make it seem like you got to do this.
like
this,
you
and
should
this.
like instead of, well, all right, let's work on your development as an artist and your music. What about, like, would you consider a boob job? Like, the fuck? Like, shouldn't we talk about the music?
work on your music
first. Like,
But first, we got to talk about them titties.
the tits.
And you can tell that's the way to ask in a post-Me Too era. Would you consider a boob job?
Right? Yeah.
Whereas before it was like, hey, get a boob job.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, the good old days.
Totally different.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
made so much progress.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. But it's an amazing song, guys. Look it up. It's on. I listened to it
Feel
on
like
YouTube,
that-
but it's on Spotify as well.
Yeah,
That's the song, like, if I was watching Insecure and then like two of the characters started boning, they would use that song in
I'd
the
be so
background.
okay with that.
I was very like, oh, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
I have a question, and this kind of leads into our discussion, right? But so, okay, you are in the music industry. Is that crossover, or is it mostly like social media? Do you have like?
Yeah. Mostly like social media. You mean like how I?
Is it
really-
like mostly social media people, SoundCloud people, or is it like more on the music side? Because I don't know.
I mean, it's
don't
both. I mean,
Okay.
it's I mean, social media, actually, surprisingly, I get way more love. I don't really have haters right now yet. Everybody's really supportive on my Instagram. I get a lot of shares, a lot of love. A lot of people are reaching out from Brazil. They're really excited about seeing like a Brazilian artist do, American music. And it's more in person. Like, I've had some meetings with people, let's say, an A&R or somebody who's a music manager whose job is to basically meet artists and scout artists or whatever it is, or half of them don't actually do what they say they do. It's, I could do this, and I know this person and this, and I could do that, and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah, no, I've met
They
a
just
lot
want
of
to
guys
talk a
like
big
that.
game.
Yeah, they'll
and
come
seem
up to
cool
you and
for a
they're
few
like,
seconds.
"Oh, dude, you're it. This is it. We're gonna get you. Like, this is big. Like, and then what? Like, they give me their card and then never again. And then other guys like will completely ignore me to shake the hand of like Robbie Epic Sauce, for example. And so it's like it goes both ways. Sometimes you're invisible, and then sometimes they're like,
It's
"Oh,
the same thing in like comedy at like big festivals. You just be talking to someone, and you could just see their eyes like glaze past you, and you're like, oh, so someone way more famous is behind
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they
Yep,
just,
yep.
they just
Shit.
go, and I'm like, I
hate
just want to
that.
be like, can you just try and just be a real person just for a
Right.
few
Yeah.
minutes?
Yeah.
That's why I always end up hanging out with other comics, because they're like, I think a lot of artists end up hanging out with other artists because at least you could feel some sort of a connection with them. But some people are really good at playing that game, networking to those bigger and better
Yeah,
things.
and you honestly, unfortunately, you kind of have to.
You got to be
You
like
got to
that.
be a little good at least bullshitting through it, because sometimes you're not going to like somebody, but unfortunately, sometimes you're going to need somebody that you might not like so much if you want
Yeah, to
keep
keep
moving
going.
up.
I look at it in the same way that I look at dating. Just be forthright with your intent, right? So if you are meeting somebody, like if I meet a girl where I can see that there's no compatibility in terms of dating, but I'd still be open to like a hookup, I would tell her that.
Yeah.
So that I'm not going to mislead
Right up
her.
front.
Because if she's interested in a relationship and I'm not, okay, well, nice meeting you, but that's that. Same thing with the
Would you consider hooking up with me?
Right.
consider my penis.
Yes.
yeah."
Contract, get it in writing,
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing with networking. If you meet somebody and you're pretending to be their friend and buddy and all that just so you can curry favor with them and get, an industry foothold, that's a little insincere.
No,
That's
no,
bullshit.
of course. I
Yeah.
mean, of course not that. You never want to.
Yeah.
I mean, people do.
People do, and
Of course.
that's the problem.
I would never kiss my ass, kiss anybody's ass to get something. But, there are a lot of. I can be super judgmental sometimes. I really am. So.
Right.
Oh, that's my
Right,
favorite
Joe.
thing that you said. Like,
you picked the
I
right
am.
podcast.
So
Absolutely.
when I'm speaking to somebody, there's a lot of times where like I could do some productive, great work with them, but there's something stupid and small that's bothering me. Not enough that it should decide what I'm going to choose to do with them as business. Maybe they have, maybe they're a little bit cocky and I don't love it. But in my head, I'm like, I
hate
fucking
cocky.
hate it. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like this person.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just kind of be like, all right, I don't like that he's cocky, but has a good idea. He has decent intentions behind this. So I need to just like stop being such a judgmental bitch for a second and just.
One thing we're really great at here is how humble we are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We are the
super duper humble.
Most humble people in the universe. In
Really?
this podcast. Yes, absolutely.
I'm not. I'm totally against humility. But so social media can sometimes be just as depressing as it may look on the or make people feel looking on the outside, right? So that's
Great.
Did we
great.
just dovetail right
in there.
Great transition,
Good, that was
Dreadmere.
good.
Almost forgive you for
Real
that
good.
shitty comment earlier. The little backhanded one. But that's a good point. We should get to the debate this week, which is social media making us depressed? This is a big, big topic. A lot of people are talking about this, and I think it's something everybody in this day and age has experience with, except for the enlightened few, the shithead friends of ours are like, oh, I don't have a Facebook. Well, yeah, you know what? You're better than me. I get it. I'm not even saying that sarcastically. They sincerely are. They figured something out that we haven't. If I didn't have to be on Facebook or fucking social media, I'd ditch that shit in a heartbeat. But before we get to the debate, let's hear everyone's buzzer. Here's what mine sounds like. Camila and Dreadmere and Ron. There.
I'll take it too.
different one.
There it is.
There you go.
If you hear
It's
a
good.
buzzer during this debate from anyone, that means that we are chiming in with an interjection, or we just want to add something. We want to disagree with someone else. But, Camila, as our first-time guest this week, I'm going to give you first stab at the debate. Is social media making us depressed? Why or why not?
Holy shit. I think social media definitely makes some people depressed. At the end of the day, I think regardless if shit sucks on social media or not, it has more to do with the type of person you are. If I had 800 million people telling me terrible things, there might be a small part of me that maybe is a little offended, but it's not going to make me depressed. I'm not going to allow that to depress me. So I think it has more to do with mental strength than social media itself.
Okay.
But I can see how it does affect some people. I mean, my niece is a good example. I talk about this all the time. My niece, she's 15 now, but when she was 13, she was wearing super heavy makeup, and she would always complain that she doesn't look like the famous Instagram girls that, you know, spend hundreds of dollars on expensive makeup and have artists and do this and that. So yeah, I mean, sort of like, I'm sure people look at numbers and they wonder sometimes like, why am I not there? But it's bullshit, man. It doesn't really have anything to do with what's going on in your real life. I hope, at least. I mean, I think I look a lot cooler on Instagram than I actually am in real life. So it's not really like...
Yeah, it was a huge
know?
letdown when I met Dreadmere.
Dude, it happens to me all the time. People meet me and they're like, really? Oh, it sucks.
Yeah. Counterpoint: social media does make you depressed. Dreadmere, I think that you would agree with Camila that it doesn't, right? Is that what you're?
Yeah, I'm on the side that social media does not make you depressed.
Okay. Why the hell not?
Because you're putting responsibility on something that it's a tool that you use. Social media is a thing that exists, that they're ascribing the same complaints that they would have for magazines or for any other largely consumed media that creates an ideal that people should try to emulate or inspire, that should inspire you rather than making you feel like, why am I not this way? Just existing, I'm here doing nothing. Why don't I look like this person that worked their whole life to get to this point? Like, it's not the app's fault. It's not Twitter's fault. It's like, if you see something that you want, you go get that. You don't say, why isn't this handed to me? Like,
Oh God! All right, I knew it was going to come down
So
to this type of argument. And Ron, where do you stand on this?
So they're depressed, and it's also their fault.
yeah,
That's what you're
exactly.
saying?
Thank you, Ron. It's
Yeah,
depressing.
I,
It is their fault.
I totally disagree.
Okay, yeah, and I think that Ron.
I think I understand what you're saying. Like, there is an onus of personal responsibility to that where it comes to. But yeah, of course, social media is making everybody depressed. Have you talked to anyone? Everyone always complains about social media. So whether or not it's their responsibility to change it is happening. People are being more depressed because people get depressed when you compare yourself with someone. You put yourself into a context of information, and social media allows us to take a look at all our friends and all the people we look up to and see where we rank, and people aren't happy with where they're ranked right now. Whether that's true or not, that the effect of it is still it makes people feel like shit.
And they're incorrect because the way that you judge the context of your life is based on yourself. You look at where am I now? Where did I start? Where am I going to be? You look at your own progress, not compared to other people. It doesn't make any sense.
You're putting yourself up against an entire industry who designs things so that we spend more time on them. So, like, one thing that they do on Twitter that I think is pretty fucking, like, ingenious was where your notification, when you logged into Twitter, you used to just see immediately how many notifications you got. Yeah. Well, they changed it so that now when you log in, there's no notifications for like maybe a second, and then they pop on. Oh. And what that does is it results in a dopamine release in your brain to be like, I have no notification. Oh, shit, I do!
Wow. Ron, I think you just have a shitty phone.
People, it's
just looting.
But it keeps people on like Twitter longer. Yeah. So you have an entire industry whose sole goal is they're not trying to improve your life. They're trying to make you stay on their app longer.
Yeah. Correct. And Facebook has actually changed it. Dreadmere, I'm gonna take such a big dump on your argument. It's coming, dude.
Yeah. Bring it. Yeah, let's go. I want to hear this
constipation of rhetoric I have backed up in me, right? And it's gonna fucking
everybody learns something right now.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
You have to get a shovel and get your way out of this argument.
Let's do it. Here we go.
With Facebook, what those motherfuckers are doing, so everybody knows the number one thing, if you can have heat maps, all right, that show where your eyes look on a screen. When you go to social media, when you go to Google, they show where people are looking, right? They study this shit day in and day out because they want to get people addicted to their platform. The more time you spend on there, the more ads they can serve you. They don't give a fuck what that content is, what the quality of the content is. It can be political shit. It can be people, abusing animals. There were videos of people who get outraged over, dogs getting abused. But then they just spread that shit around like fucking outrage porn.
Yeah, bring abused dogs into your argument. That's a fair place.
That's the shit that goes viral on fucking Facebook.
Okay, fine. But
that's just the tip. That's just the tip, buddy. You're getting a little, just the tip.
I love tips.
You're getting a little turtle head right there, a little peek of what's coming.
Yeah, it's a little one, all right.
The tortoise is coming, buddy. Yeah. Open up, Mama Bird's gonna feed you.
I'm gonna throw up. You just keep going with your fucking.
So when they look at these heat maps of where people are looking on social media, the first place your eye pops to is the upper right or the middle where they have the notifications on Facebook, right? Because you get that big red 1 or 2 or however many fucking messages or stupid shitty notifications. Now Facebook has changed it so that if you have a friend request from somebody you've never fucking met, which I just ignore because I don't want to delete them so that they can't keep like adding me, and I don't want to block them because then they'll know I've blocked them. So I just leave it in my fucking inbox forever. So I'm never going to confirm them. Now, Facebook is showing you notifications for how many people are outstanding. Yeah, I know, Facebook. I have thousands of people who send me friend requests. I'm not going to click on that. I'm never going to click on that ever again. And the only reason they're doing that, they're not doing it for your benefit. They're doing it for their benefit. And
shit. The big evil corporate businessman taking advantage of the little guy once again. Nobody can help themselves every time they go on Facebook. You just can't control whether or not you open the app. Once you're on the app, it's them mind controlling you. This is another argument that shirks complete responsibility of every choice that you make in your own life. It's them. Mark Zuckerberg is fucking you once again. That's the argument you're making.
That's a disingenuous argument right here. Because what the fuck are you supposed to do without social media today? You can't do work. My type of work you can't do without social media. I have to be on there.
You made a career in social media. Popularizing your idea.
Are you depressed?
I mean, at times, I think depression hits all of us, doesn't it?
Do you sincerely feel like sometimes like you feel more depressed when you're like scrolling through your Instagram?
Absolutely.
That actually happens to you?
Yeah, it happens to all of us. Ron said this. I mean, in a way, you said this in a roundabout way, but comparison is the thief of joy. Okay. And what we see...
No, I said it exactly like that. That was a pretty cool way of saying it. I'm pretty sure I said that.
Quote.
Guys, comparison is actually the thief of joy.
It's
the burglar of good times.
Yes.
It totally is. I mean, here's the thing. I'm on board with you, Dreadmere, to an extent, because
me too, actually.
I think that this criticism, especially of women's magazines, where it's unrealistic expectations of beauty, like that's a stupid argument because you go to beauty magazines and you go to magazines in general to see exotic things. People buy gun magazines because they have crazy fucking guns on the cover that you can't buy. I want to read about that shit. You buy car magazines because they have exotic sports cars. They don't have your fucking beat up Honda on the front cover.
Man, that would be the one fucking magazine I would read. If it was like 99 Honda Fit, just how many cup holders? And you're like, and then 6. I think they're right.
So I get that, but on Instagram, it is all all engineered garbage, bullshit, lifestyle bloggers who are telling you how to fix your fucking life, and meanwhile they're just popping Xanax left and right, trying to fix their own.
Yeah, but okay, this is not. I'm really tired of people trying to popularize monotony and trying to popularize being mundane, uninteresting, boring neckbeard fucks who sit in their basement. Why am I not getting the same attention? Because you're not doing anything to deserve it. All right, you have to do the best that you can to be the best that you can. You want to look your best. You want to do your best. Sitting in your fucking basement and complaining that you're not getting the credit that other people have gotten is not the solution to your depression.
No, that's not the argument.
I totally understand what Dreadmere is saying.
Yeah, straw man argument.
Yeah, I'll put that fucking scarecrow down. I don't give a fuck.
No, there's part of me that really identifies with and agrees. Is I also feel like people shirk a lot of their personal responsibility in their life, but it's in the same sense. I feel like sometimes when we go that way, we tend to give a free pass to those big evil corporations. Like, why can't, if I'm going to use all this personal responsibility in my life, it's not audacious of me to expect the same thing from these providers of these platforms.
Oh, yeah. What about responsibility of the platform providers?
Their responsibility is to provide a platform. It doesn't matter if you like it.
Is it? Why is that their responsibility?
If it's their job that they want to create a platform, then they should maintain it. That is the only thing that they should be doing. If they want to continue doing it, I don't care if they do or like if they decide to pull Facebook away tomorrow, that's on Zuckerberg. It's not up to me to say, "Oh, we need Facebook because it runs elections." That's bullshit. It's bullshit to say that Twitter and all these things owes us something. They gave us something. They already give us this app, this incredible way to connect in the first place, and now you want to start telling them how to use it? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, because we're the user. We're the ones who gave them their power.
You can give them
Without
your
us,
opinion.
they'd be absolutely nothing. So they should take into account what I think about their
Yeah,
app.
they should take it into
and
account.
when they're
but
using us as like, first of all, we gave them a lot. We gave them a lot of our data freely too. Like, which is totally, we gave it to them. And so they're making a good amount of money off of us. But like, there's just like, you can't say that people are better today with social media than they were before this all started. I'm talking about from a mental health perspective.
Oh God, no! This is worse. These people, they're providing a service. We're choosing to use that service. They're not responsible for how we ingest that service or
so they have absolutely no responsibility.
No, our mental health. Okay. Facebook is so I'm supposed to go and put fucking Facebook down on my insurance because I have to go see counseling now. It doesn't make any sense. Like
no, but there is a point where we're using too much of a good thing. We're like kids with a new toy. When you see a kid with a new toy, all they do is play with it. That's what we are with social media. We're using it way too fucking much. So there should be, and there's no impetus on them to have any restraints. They should have some stuff built in that's like, I don't know what that would be. What? I'm not an engineer, but something that would
be less good at stuff so other people don't feel bad about themselves. Like, what can they do?
Wrong. Okay, here's okay. That sound means all right. That part means I'm about ready to shit my giant dump of an argument all over you guys' shitty argument. Okay. Now when you first buy into something or you use something with an expectation for them to deliver a product. Like, let me give you a perfect example. Sony, PlayStation 3. When they sold that system, they sold all these different features that you could do with it. And out of the box, you were able to install different operating system. You were able to install different software. You were able to do all these neat things. Well, slowly over time, Sony decided, we don't like these features anymore, and we're going to take them away. And that caused a huge uproar. And it caused people to say, whoa, we paid for this shit. You sold us a bill of goods, and now you're changing the product retroactively, and you're taking away features that we paid for and we've come to expect, like being able to play backwards compatible video games. Sony decided it was more profitable for them to take away that feature and then sell it back to us down the line. Well, people were like, no, motherfucker, I already paid for that shit. You can't take that away from us. And social media, when we all signed up, we signed up with the expectation of privacy. We signed up with the expectation that we weren't going to be socially manipulated by these companies. We signed up with the expectation that it was going to make us more connected and we were going to be able to share our lives and trust that people aren't going to abuse the platform that we're on. What? Agree? Is that a huge agreement?
It's called social media. Of course it's not. Why would you be focusing so much on social media if you want privacy? If you want privacy, fucking go talk to your next door neighbor in person.
Okay, here.
But like
straw man argument, Camila.
Yeah.
Because they changed. We had the expectation of privacy when we signed up, and then slowly, little by little, they eroded the trust that we signed up for.
Then
We
don't
signed
use
up with
it
that trust.
anymore.
You know, you can set your shit to
after they
private,
already
too.
after they already have all our data, too late. You don't have a choice. In fact, people who aren't on social media, there was a study that just came out that said people who don't have Facebook accounts, they still have profiles on them because they're able to collect enough evidence, enough details about other people's lives just by you being on a social media platform.
So are you saying, what, is that like a clone profile that exists of me? Is that what you're...
I mean, that happens, but I mean,
Whatever. Like it's not up to you to decide how they run their business. If they decide, look, people are not ants. All right, people can choose for themselves. If I'm getting too depressed by being on Instagram, I won't go on Instagram. There is no mind control happening that makes it so it's completely outside my realm of personal responsibility. It's up to you. And I think this comes from a deeper place than people not understanding how to properly utilize social media. It comes from people living in a culture that tells you that you're a victim, that tells you it's a race to the bottom. Are you the biggest loser? Great, you win. That's exactly why people see something like this and they can immediately jump on that. Look, you know you're on board with this because this is the same dumbass argument they make about violent video games. Oh, violent video games are making us violent, the school shootings. When that happens, you're 100% on board fighting back and saying, no. All these school shootings are not because of video games. Video games, it's a personal choice. These other people, that doesn't affect them. It's just these random ass psychopaths that end up doing it. So this is the same exact argument you're making in that case too, right?
Similar,
It's
but
the same.
similar. It's a little different because
Dreadmere got Maddox up against the ropes. Fight back.
we've got many millions of people who play violent video games, and very few, less than 0.5% of them commit any kind of violent crime. So there is no correlation there. It's kind of like trying to blame Islam for being violent when 99% of Islamic people who believe in the religion are not violent.
But
it's
that
kind of,
one guy makes up for lost time.
well,
Okay.
they make headlines. They make for splashy headlines, but
On social media.
yeah, social media is a little bit different because there is a correlation between social media and depression, and study after study after study shows that people who spend more time on social media, it drives a wedge between us. It's not bringing us together. When social media first started, when I was first on Facebook back in like 2008 or something like that, I shared everything. Like, yeah, here are my vacation photos. Here's my relationship status. Here's what the fuck I'm doing. Now I don't share shit. And it's not just me. I have friends who work at Facebook, and they have also noticed a precipitous decline in the amount that we are all sharing. And I think part of that reason is because we don't trust it. We don't trust each other. It's driven a wedge between us. Like, it's some of my friends in real life I've known for years, and I don't know their shitty political opinions. Now, because of Facebook, I know everyone's shitty political opinion. And everybody does one of these grandstandy, showboaty type status updates where it's like, if you believe in Trump, better fucking unfriend me, right? Fucking, like, great. What's that going to accomplish? We're not talking to each other anymore. We've created echo chambers. And speaking of, I'll let you...
Maddox punching Dreadmere back. He's got friends on Facebook.
Real quick.
We have friends on Facebook. That's true.
I got a relevant super chat. We got two super chats, one from New World Order for $2 and another one from New World Order for $10. He says, we thought the net would be uplifting, but people look for what they want to hear, not what they need. Thus, echo chambers form, and in a society that worships neoliberalism, companies capitalize on that. What do you think of that, Dreadmere? You're rolling your eyes.
I think that's stupid. That's stupid. I mean, look, we have a. So, okay, people like to live in their little echo chambers. Fine, but there are better ideas out there. They exist because social media presents the opportunity for you to find them. And by the way, I wouldn't even know you if it wasn't for social media. I wouldn't know Camila or Lil Babcock if we didn't meet on social media. So,
Yo, Hummus Factory, SoundCloud, check it.
yeah, go subscribe. But yeah, social media does bring people together if you choose to utilize it in that fashion.
Here's the thing that I think I totally understand where you're coming from. It really comes down to a place of ownership and responsibility. I think Maddox and I are on the side more of the platform should be more responsible, and you and Camille are on the side of the individual.
Yeah.
But you are both adults. You are a full-grown man who has a very strong sense of self, as are you. What about kids who are growing up with this?
Definitely.
Like, I mean, super strong man. But what about your niece who's like 15 years old, who's going through this? What about people who are still forming who they are and going through all this? Like, I don't want my nieces and nephews to be on social media all the time. I think they're going to have this weird bastardized version of them.
That's the responsibility of the parent. That's
Yeah,
not the responsibility of Jake Paul and Logan Paul doing crazy shit online. They are allowed to advertise, do whatever the fuck they want with no guilt. Shane Dawson, by the way, they shouldn't feel guilty for advertising this shit. They can do whatever they want, and if the people choose to consume it or allow their kids to consume it, it's on them. It's not Jake Paul's fault.
So, like, there's no, in your world, there's, like, no responsibility to be a role model to anybody. It's that people who use it, and people who don't. And I have absolutely no responsibility to society at large.
What are your intent? Like, if I decide that I want to go be a motivational speaker, then I guess in a sense I'm taking on the responsibility of trying to be some kind of role model. But you're talking about people who are choosing to create the content that they want to create. I want to make music. I want to make jackass videos. I want to make vlogs.
Being a role model, yeah.
Yeah, it's like if people choose to see you, so you put this out there, and then someone sees that and they're like, "That's not how I want my kid to behave." Then don't fucking be like that person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing a lot of agreement from that side of the table.
Yeah.
What's going on? Why are you on board with this?
I'm just thinking of the 800,000 other conversations I had about the same thing. But no, it's true. It's like, I don't know if it makes me sound douchey or not, but first off, I feel like if there weren't people doing better than other people, then what the fuck would make people want to try harder to be better?
Well, what about
not everyone's going to be great. Not everyone's going to have an amazing social media presence. Some people are going to work normal jobs and it sucks. Not everyone's going to be a superstar, and I think it's kind of a good thing that social media maybe does knock some people down. Like, not everybody can feel so entitled just because social media exists. Do something. Be talented. Go learn an instrument. Go do something.
I don't think anybody's arguing with that
that's
necessarily.
No.
But
Definitely.
I'm just saying, like, I think I'm coming at it more from, like, the effects of social media on young people, where parents aren't parenting you 24 hours a day. You have a phone.
No, but you should
have a
talk.
life.
You should talk to your kids. Obviously,
But, like,
it's real. Cardi B, she's a real thing. There are 14-year-olds that are like looking at her as a role model, and it's kind of crazy. She's not really
fucking
great.
psychopath.
She's
Yeah.
not a great role model.
Okay,
But
I
as a
disagree.
parent,
She's-
I'm a parent. Okay, I have.
Yeah, I
a
love
kid.
Cardi B.
I have a 3-year-old son, and thank God, a son. I don't have to worry about a girl. But if I did have a girl, I would absolutely make it a priority of mine to take some time to sit down with my kid and explain to her, yeah, you're going to see a lot of this, you're going to see a lot of that, but you need to embrace who you are, find what you're good at, and focus on that. You have to talk to your kids about that, because in reality, yes, obviously social media is affecting people in that way. Okay. I think my argument isn't necessarily that it's not, it's that it shouldn't. It's that people really need to start taking a little more responsibility for their own.
Yeah, and I totally agree. It does affect people. It shouldn't. But my response is that it does. Yeah. And your response is that it comes down to the personal. And I think, I honestly, like everything in fucking life, you're not wrong, and we're not wrong, and we're not right, and you're not right. Oh,
well,
God,
you guys are a little
it's
wrong.
a little
I
bit
think
of both.
Wrong.
No, they're
Definitely
There's
wrong.
the personal
right.
responsibility, and then there's also on the side of the company. But you know what? Someone's about to take a logic shit all over this table.
Oh.
Look at him taking a sip of his iced coffee.
There it is. Another fart, because you know what's coming. Going to take a big old shit on you guys' argument. All right, Camila. I agree, and Dreadmere, you should take personal responsibility.
Yeah.
We know.
You should have
take
more confidence in yourself.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you shouldn't compare yourself to people who are more successful and be depressed. That's not the fucking argument. What the argument is,
Yeah.
all right, is they're selling you a bad bill of goods. At first, they're
Trump
saying,
here?
listen.
Listen.
Oh, I'm working on your Mikey, huh?
my Mikey doing Trump.
Yeah.
Mikey Bolts. Listen. So here's what's actually happening. Okay, there was a study that came out a while back. Facebook got a lot of heat for this about 2 years ago. Facebook was psychologically manipulating its users intentionally to see if they could change the way people felt. They were intentionally trying to see if they could make people sad or happy by showing them status updates that might make their attitude change. So over time, what they were doing, just randomly selecting users and showing them status updates that might make them more depressed and more sad. And by the way, that's fucking unethical and irresponsible, because if somebody's on the edge and they're a little suicidal and they see a little too many depressing posts, guess what, Facebook? Congratulations. You were able to make some guy who's already depressed more depressed.
You killed someone. You abused dogs.
Possibly.
Facebook abuses dogs and they kill people.
But the assumption is when you use these products is that you're going to get what you signed up for. What you signed up for is a social media experience where you can see your aunts and uncles' shitty little kids. right? They're fucking pets and whatever garbage people post. I don't even fucking know what normal people post. But
basically that.
Just like garbage, right? You signed up to see other people's garbage, not to be psychologically manipulated. Don't you think that these companies have a responsibility to at least inform us if they are conducting psychological experiments on us?
No.
Okay, that's a shitty. You think that the company should be allowed to manipulate you?
I think that they can't manipulate you. That's impossible.
They absolutely fucking can. They manipulate you all the time.
I think they may take advantage of certain people who don't quite understand how to validate their own choices. They may be doing that, but even so, that's not on Facebook.
I feel like you think you're in so much.
It's been like that forever too. It's not just social media. It's like media has always tried to push people towards like whatever the look is, or there's just commercials before now.
I feel like Dreadmere, you think you're so much more in control of your life than you actually are.
Absolutely. That's
I feel
everybody.
like I feel like you really believe, and it's not. It's like I feel like that they're things that have an effect on us that we might not be immediately aware of, and we like to think. I don't think we're in as control of our lives as we all think we are.
I think we are. I think that you're arguing like this subliminal message, psychological control stuff. It's like Facebook is like MK Ultra all of a sudden. Like we are in control of our choices. If you go and buy a rope and you put it in your backyard and you're like, oh, it's a tire swing, and someone else goes and fucking uses it as to hang themselves, it's not, oh, the rope company needs to fucking tell us that this could be used in a dangerous way. Like it's not up to you.
Well, what if a tire hung itself?
I guess they do.
A lot of sad tires.
That's a fun.
A lot of sad tires.
A lot of depressed tires. And now we swing on their carcass.
We swing on their carcass.
It's fucked up.
It's irresponsible.
Yeah. Hold the rope.
Let me ask you this. Here's Camila and Dreadmere's world, all right? Here's your world. Charles Manson didn't do anything wrong. Charles Manson shouldn't be jailed. He never killed anybody.
He
did what?
Didn't.
What did he do?
He's not Facebook. He was Charles Manson. Anybody who followed him was a nut job.
Okay, so it's their fault. And so Charles Manson should be released from jail. I mean, if he was still alive.
He seems like a cool guy, personally.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
Charles Manson is a...
Dreadmere?
He was intelligent enough to
Dreadmere's
dupe
friends with
that
him on
many
Facebook.
people.
Charles Manson psychologically manipulated and, for lack of better term, but brainwashed those people into killing.
But Facebook isn't making people murder anybody.
No, but it is making people kill themselves.
That's so stupid. That's already something in here. If you are suicidal, you are fucking suicidal, and that sucks. Go see a doctor.
Don't you think it's irresponsible to take someone suicidal or depressed and show them more depressing images to encourage them?
They shouldn't be on a platform where they think they are that much at risk of like.
Yeah, and by the way, if you feel like everything in your life is out of your control, you probably would be more likely to go down that path. That would put you in a place of depression. That would make you think that the only way out is to kill yourself. I think the problem is much deeper than whether or not Facebook is using the right fucking analytics. It's people who come from a completely different cultural standard of, again, victimization of everything's out of your control. Like, you need to know that...
Another straw man argument.
You're saying
because nobody's saying everything is out of your control. I'm just saying for some people,
your life is everything.
For some people who are vulnerable, psychologically vulnerable, or people who are vulnerable to manipulation, or people who might not have their parents around all the time. Like, the reality of the situation is when people come along and they thump their chest like, oh, you don't like the internet, don't be on it. It's like, you can't not be on it. It's part of our life. It's part of the fabric of society. You have to be on it.
You can be. Look at Alex Jones. He's not on it.
A multi-millionaire snake oil salesman who built his career and then now got booted off. Thank God. Like that guy. And I actually had this debate from Jesse PS in the chat room. I don't know if he's still in the chat room, but we talked about Alex Jones getting booted off the network. The big argument against that is that it could happen to any of us, and it's going to happen to all of us. I think it's a good thing that it happened because it will wake people the fuck up that this is not a free speech platform. This is not a platform that is doing good for society. It is a platform that is doing good for possibly its shareholders and nobody else.
I'm on board with you until you said doing good for society. I think, it may not be a free speech platform, but if that's the platform you want, then someone else, the solution is competition. The solution is not, let's have the government come and regulate Twitter and tell them how to use it. It's a private, it's their company. They can decide to have only people with long hair or only Armenians who wear shirts that say Shinobi on them. They could say that that's what they want only on their platform. But if you're looking for a free speech platform, basically, that's not it. Fine, we can voice that. But to say like, oh, it's going to happen to all of us, like, I mean, maybe, then go somewhere else. MySpace was a thing. Now it's not. You know, these things aren't here forever. Like, you got to look into the future. These are the same arguments people were making about Xerox in the 70s. Like, oh, it's too big. What are we going to do without, like, competition? That's the solution.
Well, what if do you believe that there can be a point where competition, like you cannot have competition, that competition is stifled because the competitor is so big and so insurmountable? Do you think that's possible?
It's possible with the help of government regulation. Yeah, absolutely. The government with government favors.
You got to throw in your little fucking, you wedge in your fucking.
That's the only way it is possible. It's impossible in a free market, laissez-faire to have a monopoly. That's impossible.
The Rockefeller.
That's okay.
He didn't do that. He didn't do that with government subsidies. The government came in and tried to bust up the monopolies he created.
Well, with the introduction of government of that regulation, look. First of all, the only reason if anybody had let's say one man has all the oil. What happens then? I guess
a man, Dreadmere. What a woman can have the oil.
Let's say
Dreadmere.
Let's say a transgendered otherkin paraplegic has all the oil.
Okay, I'm listening.
Let's say if that's the case, what happens is the government doesn't have to come in and start distributing this property that this person has. What happens is the market needs to compete by utilizing electric mobility, utilizing solar mobility.
Yeah, and what if they buy up the patents to those electric engines?
Then we need to figure out other options. But the point is, nobody's
what other options? Well, hold on. It's so easy to say, well, we'll just figure something out. We will. But that's something that's a real-world example where oil companies for years have bought more efficient patents for more efficient engines. Oil companies came in and dug up all the trolleys that they used to have in Los Angeles so that we would have to buy cars and then transport all around the city and made this fucking horrible congestion that we have, this traffic congestion, and then we're just buying gas and gas and gas, and these companies did that. These companies came in, they made things worse because they have the profit motive. Profit is not inherently evil. Making money is not inherently evil.
I'll agree with that.
But it can be. Sometimes people do heinous things for the ends of making money.
If somebody does something illegal to make money, then it's illegal. But
what about unethical? Legality has nothing to do with morals.
Well,
it was legal. It was legal to own slaves.
Yeah.
It was legal to persecute Jews. Those were all legal laws throughout our history.
But we're talking about somebody who may illegitimately gain a resource and gain control of it, fine. But if somebody legitimately gets all the resources, they're not just competing with that sector of the economy. They're competing with the entire economy, as in people who sell bread. Just because he has all the oil, there are people who sell bread. There are people who sell screws and nuts and bolts and all these other things that we need to buy to live our lives. So to say that if they have this monopoly, we're all just fucked and under their rule, that's impossible. Like, it's a free market. Everybody has an opportunity to create a service and offer it, and then we can choose to use it.
Guys, I mean, I love a good tangent just as much as the next guy. But the debate is, does social media make you depressed? Ron. And you're talking about bread and screws.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Just real smart shit. But Ron,
he is our tangent officer.
Thank you for getting us back on track, but that is not your job. So I'm sorry. That is demerit. He is the tangent officer.
Yeah.
No, what do you want to add? We should probably get to. We should try to wrap this up. What do you want to add? What are your final thoughts on this? Social media, making it suppressed, yes or no?
I mean, I guess the numbers are showing that it's having an effect on certain people, but
people.
My, I guess, word of wisdom is just stop caring so much about what other people are doing and just work on making yourself suck less.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
really it.
I can get on board with that. a little bit different.
Yeah,
than,
not as deep as I was thinking it was going to sound.
I mean,
just suck less and you'll feel better.
This is an is-ought argument, right? Like, ought social media make us depressed? No. But is it? Yes.
Perhaps.
So,
unfortunately.
So then we can get to the core.
And not us.
Not us.
Certain.
Notice that it was also a loaded question that we began with. It isn't what is the effect of social media. It was, does social media make you depressed?
Yeah.
The question wasn't, does social media make you feel awesome?
We tend not to do loaded questions on this podcast.
I know, we're really we're just humble bros.
Couple episodes ago, we did is soccer a dumb, shitty sport for stupid idiots? That was
absolutely
very, very reasonable debate. Yes. Is Italian food all the same shit?
All food is all the same. Every food is bread, meat, and cheese.
Yeah, amen. Where were you on that one?
Yeah, I know, right?
We got a couple super chats, and we'll get Dreadmere. We'll get your final thoughts too. We got one from Dominic Joseph. Oh, cool, Dominic's good guy. He says early Facebook thrived off the idea of being select with allowing people to be friends with you. I agree with your point, Maddox. # already editing. So Dominic, by the way, thank you, Dominic. Dominic's been helping me out with editing some clips on the podcast. Very cool. Check those out. Follow us on social media on Instagram
or not. If it's gonna get get you depressed,
Facebook.
don't.
You won't be depressed.
Unless it makes you feel sad.
this podcast makes everyone full of joy. And then we got one from Pavich Bowden for $2. Says, I feel like this is and is ought to be. Holy shit, he just said that. He said, I feel like this is and is ought to be.
One of your fans actually said something that agrees with you.
Yeah, very smart. And then we got from Apostolos Constantino for €10. Says, everyone is faking on social media, looking happy and cool. And that makes you depressed because you compare their lives to your own miserable life. Social media gives you unrealistic standards. And Dreadmere, I think you'll have something to say about that. What are your final thoughts on that?
Yeah, get a better life. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, try harder, do your best.
I mean,
Look,
that's not bad,
you need to
yeah.
feel inspired. You need to look at this and say, that's what I want to be like. You need to find heroes, all right? Not these fucking people who bitch all the time and tear other people down. You need to find people who have created, like Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a hero, all right? Jake Paul is somebody that you want to be like because he has created his wealth. He's working hard.
Speak for yourself on that one, pal.
You should want to be like.
Nah,
Why?
Yeah, and
What is appealing about Jake Paul?
He's a kid who just works hard and has fun and
Does he?
he provides a service.
How do you know he has fun?
I'm going based off of what I see. It looks like he's having
On social
fun.
media?
The amount of effort he puts into his work and the amount of success he's had with it, I would imagine comes with a
Is that
passion
the
and
one
drive.
who's a dipshit to his neighbors?
Things get out of hand sometimes.
Yeah, that guy could fuck off.
No, things can get out of
I
hand.
don't know anything about him
He's
other
got
than he
great
was
hair.
a dipshit to his neighbors, and that just made me so angry.
He's a hero, and you want to be like Jake Paul. So social media, it should
live in your own
inspire you to
neighborhood.
be that way.
Dreadmere's argument is basically, Police Academy 5. They all seem so happy going on vacation, so they must be real successful. No, Jake Paul's job is to appear. He's selling a lifestyle.
Yeah,
and that's
find
not
heroes.
necessarily. Do you honestly think that guy's happy?
Yeah, he seems happy. Yeah,
Really?
I'm not saying he doesn't have any problems, but
You
he's
really think he's happy? Because like every
he's
time I
living
see
his
him
best
on,
life. Yeah.
You know what's actually one last thing I gotta say? I can't say who, because I'm not gonna blow up anyone's spot, but I did see a famous YouTuber.
Was it Logan Paul?
I can't tell you. I'll tell you off
okay,
mic.
off mic, yeah.
Who all his videos and stuff, like he's like this like super cool like singer. That's as much info. At the club, it was like not the same person. He looked like super fucked up on I don't know what.
Oh,
like
shit.
all drugged out.
I
he
know
was
who
just,
you're talking about.
He was like this.
Taylor Nicolai.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I was trying to keep it
okay,
on the
all right,
DL,
yeah.
but you know.
you up, Taylor.
Taylor Nicholas.
But yeah, that does happen. It was really actually kind
Yeah.
of sad to see. I'm like,
Well,
dude,
yeah,
I
I mean-
just saw your post yesterday. You were like balling, like having a blast. Now you look like you're
And
about
so
to
with
like.
that, drugs
sucks.
can sometimes
Drugs,
can be a mechanism to evade reality. That's
Right.
the whole point of drugs. You use them to blur your perception of reality, to make it so that your emotions don't accurately reflect the reality of the situation in front of you. So if you are unhappy, sometimes drugs are the way to move past that. But if you are soberly enjoying your life and the reality you are receiving is accurate, then of course you would be happy with if you're doing everything you can to be the best that you can, to work out, to look good, to take care of yourself, to provide content that is successful. Of course he's happy.
Well, I'll tell you guys what makes me happy. ButcherBox.
Yeah.
Our new sponsor. Guys, today's episode is brought to you by ButcherBox. For free bacon and $20 off your first box, go to butcherbox.com/madcast and enter madcast as the code. Guys, ButcherBox is an amazing service. They send meat right to your house, and this isn't just the grocery store variety of meat.
This ain't your daddy's meat.
This is not your daddy's meat. First of all, it's 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Now, this is something I had to look up. I want to know
I've
what
never heard of grass finished.
grass finished, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of places, what they'll do is they'll say, "Oh, we got grass-fed beef," and you're thinking, "Oh, great! I'm eating a nice pasture-fed cow. You know, some beef that was like good, clean feed, right?" Well, that's not the case. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll have them pasture-fed for part of their lives, and then in the end, they'll bring them into a feeding lot, and they just like feed them a bunch of filler. So grass-fed and grass-finished is what it is. It says here, grass-finished beef, sometimes marketed as grass-fed beef, comes from the cattle that have been raised on forage diet their entire lives, while most cattle spend the majority of their lives in pastures eating grass before moving to a feedlot for grain finishing. So that's a way that they can kind of skirt around and get a little cheaper.
Do you know I'm like I'm like a big fan of getting stuff through the mail.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Like, because I feel like whenever you're getting shit you need through the mail, like things in your life are going pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, like if you
Yeah.
get like beef, wine, like a mattress. But dude, I actually like I I tried one of the bacon stick. I wrapped them around some dates because Maddox asked me to make some bacon-filled dates, and he was missing 2 of the 4 ingredients. So I was like, sure, I'll do it.
I don't put goat cheese in it.
Oh my God! You're just like, I don't have toothpicks or goat cheese, and I'm like, what? How am I supposed to work in this kitchen? And you're like, this is one of the knives that's sharp. I'm like, good Lord, man. So I made it, but I tried one of the bacon on its own because I wanted to have like a control experiment.
Yeah.
It's really good bacon.
It's fantastic bacon.
I was
and
very excited about it.
here's the good thing about it. So we are in the studio. If you guys are watching this on camera, we have some of the bacon-wrapped dates, which is the first time I ever tried it was in Austin in a real high-end restaurant. I thought, well, I could make this at home. And you can because they send
you can't. You did not make it. I made it with not the right ingredients.
Nice.
Yeah, and he did a good job.
Nice.
Gordon Ramsay over there.
I said,
I walked in the door. You're like, hey, iced coffee's in the fridge. Can you make some bacon-filled dates? I need to go through the voicemails.
whatever the case is, we're eating it, and it's delicious. The bacon in studio today is the bacon that we received from ButcherBox. Now, they send you a big box filled with, at the bottom, it has kind of like a false compartment, I think, like an empty compartment where they put dry ice, so it keeps it super cold. And thank God, because I got home pretty late the day that I received the delivery, everything was still frozen completely to the touch. It's fantastic.
You did send me a text that was like, hey, man, I'm going to give you so much meat. And I was like, this is the best text I've ever received.
Yeah, dude, it's fantastic. It's hormone-free, antibiotic-free chicken and heritage breed pork. I also had to look up what heritage breed pork is. Now, this is kind of fascinating, but most pork that you buy, most pork that you eat is not indigenous. They kind of like crossbreed, and they make a type of pork that is very commercially viable. You know, the quote, other white meat. Well, this is heritage breed pork. It's the type of pork that is supposed to exist on this continent. So that's the type of pork that they have for these products. You can buy a box of beef, chicken, pork. You can custom your cuts. It's fantastic. They deliver it right to your door. It's free shipping, guys. You can get 9 to 11 pounds of meat per box, and that's enough for 24 meals. Now, I did the math here. It says on their website it's less than $6 per meal. Well, guess what, guys? With our $20 off discount code using the promo code MADCAST, it comes to about $4.55 per meal with that first $20 off, and you get the free bacon, which is fantastic. And if people haven't, if you guys haven't done this before, you get a sirloin, or you get a filet mignon.
Oh, yeah.
You wrap it in
let's
bacon.
listen to the recipe you have.
Yeah, it's a real good recipe, Ron. No one respects me on this podcast.
It's the smartest thing you've said all day.
Yeah, I think we all agree with that.
I disagree. You guys should respect me more, I think. Anyway, guys, it's great for meal planning. They send you if you get chicken in your box, they send you the frozen chickens, and you can cook those up, put them for meal planning. A lot of people are doing meal planning these days. If you guys want to watch what you're eating and get good, clean food. And one last thing, I want to say this about their bacon. One of the things that's kind of come to prominence lately is nitrate and nitrites that they're putting into food. It's not, there's a bunch of
Were those both characters on American Gladiator?
You're thinking of nitro.
Oh, shit.
Also not good to eat. But
Well, sometimes.
nitrates and nitrites are things that they sometimes add as, into processed foods and things like that. This bacon doesn't have it. It's good, clean stuff. Guys, again, the promo code is MADCAST. For free bacon and $20 off your first box, go to butcherbox.com/MADCAST and enter promo code MADCAST. Thank you again to ButcherBox. And let me know what you guys think. Send me a picture of what you cook. I'll be posting pictures of what I cook, or Ron in this case.
Yeah, what I cook.
As he's very, very clearly stated that he made. Anyway, guys, thank you again. But we should get to last week's debate. I have the results from last week's debate. Oh, but before we do that, I do have a special announcement. Okay, this is I don't often do these, but I got an email from somebody about a month ago. It says, "Dear Maddox, I hope you are well. I wanted to tell you that my boyfriend and I are huge fans of yours. I could never understood." Well, this is her writing. "I could never understood how someone can listen to podcasts, but when I started dating my boyfriend, he listened to you a lot instead of listening to me. Haha." Smart guy. "I started to really get into it, and now your debate channel is at the top of my personal podcast list. Fuck whales." That's fantastic. Anyway, our first anniversary is coming up on October 20th. That's today. That's the day we're recording this. And since you do most of the talking in our relationship, and then in parentheses, lol, I was wondering if there's any way I can get a shout out to him in your video or podcast closer to October 20th. Well, how about exactly on October 20th? Just want to let him know that I love him so damn much. He turned my world downside up, and that's why I choose every day to be with him in the land down under. Please let me know. We both want to support you, as you have a lovely place in our relationship story. So if there's any way we can do that, please let me know too. Lots of love from Australia, Priya.
Aw.
There you
Very
go.
cute.
Well, that's
Yeah.
sweet.
Sweet message.
Yeah, a
Happy
little,
anniversary, Priya.
Happy anniversary, Priya. Thank you for the support, and more than anything, I just want to say you're welcome. We should get to the results from last week's debate. Last week, Camila and Dreadmere, we debated, is it possible to be authentic on YouTube? That was the debate. What do you think? What's your gut?
Definitely.
You say yes, Dreadmere?
Absolutely.
You say yes? Well, we have the results here with 51% of the vote. Yes. Wow, very close. Very close on that one. 51. It was about 50-50 all week long, and then finally.
I think it's another one of those things where, yes, it's possible most people are not authentic on YouTube.
Yeah,
but
that's,
yes,
that's
it's
a good
possible
distinction.
to be.
It's possible, but most people are not. Yeah. And Ron,
Yeah.
the second part of the question for last week's debate was, is the
forgot
is
about
the
this.
Babcock tip this week bullshit that robs me of $1? And with 54% of the vote, yes.
And that just goes to show you that your local library is a wonderful resource.
Veto again. Ron last week, his Babcock tip was to tell people to go to the library, just get a bunch of free fucking Audible
It's
books.
more than it's more than just like physical books. You get tons of audiobooks. You could rent video games. It's
Yeah.
pretty great.
Yeah. And as an author, he's telling people to go to the library and listen to my book for free.
Yeah, I'm a real asshole telling people to support their local
that's
library.
very nice of you.
What
very
a dick.
nice of you.
Yeah, support the government and don't support the private business. I think you should be on this guy's side.
First smart thing Dreadmere said all episode. And unless he
couple
agreed with
few
me.
things.
No, first thing. Hey, speaking of the Babcock tip, what do you got for us, Ron?
All right. This is going to be the next 5 tips are going to be ones of financial in nature.
Oh.
Basically, my tip is that you need to track your spending. So people don't care about something until you measure it. Once you start to measure something, you become more interested in it. And most of us live our life where we don't keep track of our own spending. And we always wonder, how come I don't have any money? It's because you're just not figuring out where your money's coming in and where it's going. So I would recommend downloading a budget app on your phone. I've used all of them, except for the ones that cost money. I know there's ones out there, YNAB, you need a budget, that people love, but I don't want to spend money to track my money. Some people are into Mint. I think Mint's a little busy from a visual standpoint. Other people do Clarity, which is like a simplified version of Mint. The one that I like is called Personal Capital. It's free. You can hook up your bank, your credit cards, any investments you have, literally anything you can hook it up. It'll show you everything in one place. So the nice thing is that if you do have investments, it'll show you what fees you're being charged. And a lot of times that stuff is hidden from you. So it's a great way of just kind of figuring out oh shit, these miscellaneous fees that'll drag down your investment portfolio. But first things first is you need to download a budget tracking software. Don't change how you spend your money for the first month. Just go out, live your fucking life. The budget app will do its thing. It'll categorize it for you. It's right about 80% of the time. Sometimes you have to point it in the right direction. It gets better as you keep using it. And then after that month, you just look at it and look where you're spending your money. And people won't do it because it's going to make you uncomfortable. Because I know when I did it, it was very illuminating. I was like, I don't spend that much money eating out. I was spending 30% of my income eating out, which is too much.
Yeah.
So I recommend if you want to have more money in your life, the first step is to know where your money is going and where your money is coming from.
Amen to that, Ron. That's that's a real solid tip. Good turnaround.
All my
from
tips
last
are
week.
super strong, super solid.
Last week's.
Way more hefty than you think it would be.
Absolutely not. Not last week's. That's a really solid. Personal Capital is the one you recommend. And
But there's a ton of them out there. I say what I would do is download 3 or 4, see which ones you like, and then start using it. And you don't need to check it every day. Just every couple days. I like to check mine when I'm on the shitter.
there you go. That's not a bad tip. I actually like that a lot. And Ron, I think you make a good point. I like the point that you made that when you start to measure things, that's when you start to notice problems, potentially. Like when I first started losing weight, when I first came to Los Angeles, I think I lost about 50, 60 pounds. And one of the steps in that process was actually calorie counting. And it wasn't until I started looking at the calorie counter that I realized, holy shit, there's so much snacking I was doing throughout the day. And I'm kind of like a stress eater. So I'll walk into the kitchen. My big thing was grabbing a handful of cereal, just pop it in my mouth. I was just like, you don't even think about it. You're like, well, I can't wait for lunch. And then when I started calculating how much cereal I was eating, just handfuls, I was like, holy shit, I was going through a box every like day and a half. Like that's an additional meal or two, and an additional like 2,000 calories I'm putting down in like a day and a half.
Yeah, you need a cereal tracker. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Cereal tracker app.
And the next tip is going to be is how your money can make you a little bit more money. So
can't wait. That's next week's tip,
and it's so fucking easy. It's like it's the easiest thing.
And if you guys missed last week's episode, we did make an announcement that this podcast is going to twice monthly. I am starting another new podcast that's coming soon. More details soon. We are recording it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Ron knows about it. Dreadmere, you may know about it.
I know parts, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Well, we
Too
should.
bad you're going to have to follow it on social media.
Yeah, you will have to follow it because it's the only fucking way. We got a super chat from Apostolos Constantino for €5. Says, cool shirt, Maddox. Shinobi is the second arcade game I spend the most money on. Golden Axe is the first. Also, give Ron an advice podcast on Madcast Media.
Working on it.
Working on it. That's correct. Anyway, guys, we should get to some voicemail. I got some voicemail. I got a bunch this week, but let's do this. And by the way, Apostolos in the super chat was just referring to the shirt I am wearing today, which is a Shinobi shirt. If you guys aren't watching the YouTube version of this video, it's Shinobi, the classic arcade game by Sega. But we should get to some voicemail. So a couple episodes ago, we talked about wedding registries and what type of gifts you should buy to people. Well, here's a guy calling in saying what he got for his wedding. Listen to this.
Hey, Maddox. Want to talk about wedding registry gifts. I got to agree with you big time. Fuck wedding registry. Fuck gifts. Give me money. Because we didn't need a fucking blender or a toaster or some bullshit. We were a new couple. We needed a new house. We needed to figure out what the fuck we wanted. So we just got cash. Guess what? We left our wedding with a big pile of money and got all the shit we wanted. So we didn't have to trust other people's shitty taste or shitty judgment. Great fucking call once again. Maddox is a fucking genius. Also, fucking Nazi.
Yeah, smart caller.
Hey, man, he's right.
Yeah.
Smartest thing ever said on this podcast, I think. The tail end of that, where I was a genius.
I was going with more of the first half, but okay.
The last part was the smartest thing ever said on this podcast.
Kind of
Would you agree with that?
First part.
Definitely.
She said definitely, and she's also nodding vigorously for those who are not watching on YouTube. But for those who are on
Definition of vigorously, but okay.
vigorously nodding. All right, we got another voicemail. Ron, we got a voicemail about your tip from last week.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, listen to this.
Just wanted to say basically the Babcock Tip was super awesome. As soon as I finished the episode, I got my library card, and I'm been listening to an audiobook all week long. So thanks for that tip. It was super great. Keep up the good work.
Oh,
Well, you're welcome. Now, that was just nice.
that's
It's a
adorable.
shit tip, Ron. And you know what?
Douchebag of the week.
Yeah, both of you.
Both.
That's 2 weeks in a row now.
Wow. That's the first ever we've had the co-host.
Back to back.
Back-to-back douchebag of the week. Yeah. They're
Should,
nice.
should vote on whether or not the guy that said he went to the library actually has a social media page, because I'd vote no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might be one of the few.
He's probably the
Doesn't
happiest
have,
guy
at least
in the world.
definitely not Instagram.
I do have some friends who don't have social media, and they do sincerely seem so much happier.
Yeah, I mean,
I took a month fast from social media, and my girlfriend said, she's like, I don't want this to sound weird, but you were like such a better boyfriend during that month. She was like, you were just like so like present,
More present,
attentive,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
Like I was like, yay. So actually, the new iOS update has a screen time feature, and I've been
don't like
hardcore about putting time limits on my shit.
Oh,
and then
I
when
don't
I'm
like
done,
that
I'm done.
feature.
You don't like that feature? Why not?
Because I spend a lot of time
Because
doing
as soon as you measure something,
it's
you
not
start
yeah.
to pay attention.
I actually
to
the
it.
other day I was looking because I do a lot of my promotion stuff and networking online, and it's not all social media, but it's on my phone. And I think usually at the end of the day there's about 11 hours logged in screen time.
Whoa.
Camila, what I like about your social
crazy.
media, like, because I think I just follow you on Instagram. Is that's your main social media, right? What's your Instagram page?
Camila Paiva Music.
Camila Paiva, and it's Paiva. Camila Paiva Music. Okay, so everyone follow Camila on Instagram. And I like your Instagram feed because it does feel real. It's just, sometimes you just, chatting, sharing some thoughts, sometimes just pictures, and then sometimes just clips from your new music that's coming out, which is exactly what I would want from somebody who I'm following on social media. That's great. Like, yeah, you're promoting your projects that you're working on, and you're also sharing a slice of your life with people. It's very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Here is a voicemail about a show on Madcast Media and one of the hosts. Listen to this.
Hey, Lord Maddox, it's me. With all this authenticity going around, I feel like I wanted to give a special shout-out I feel like he doesn't get enough attention, but he's a really great guy, special fella, funny, smart, super authentic. And that's Captain Dirk from the Super Arrogant Bros. Everyone should check out his podcast. Not only that, but Plastered Paladins. Super hilarious guy, super funny. Fuck whales.
Yeah, everyone give it a listen. There's Captain Dirk's show on Madcast Media, Super Arrogant Bros. It's an amazing show. Super nice guy. I love that dude. And it's something I should probably do a better job of is promoting the other shows on this network. But yeah, give it a listen. I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's a video game podcast if you're into video games. And there's a big milestone coming out, big event, which is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
I cannot wait. I've already announced this. I may do a 12. I haven't decided if it's going to be 12 or 24 hours. Take out horses.
That literally makes you sound like a psychopath.
Yeah, you're going to need
Pretty
a lot
much
of...
the gist of that game.
Yeah.
Social media doesn't make anyone depressed.
Yeah.
Shit a horse in the face.
Look at this guy. He's been killing horses for 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's probably a world record.
You're welcome. Hey, they eat horse carpaccio in Canada. Anyway, here's a voicemail about that YouTube channel. You know that YouTube channel, the Hot Ones, where they eat the hot spicy wings. Listen to this guy.
Hey, it's Mike from Minnesota. Hey, Maddox, I don't know if you've heard of this YouTube channel called First Sweet Feast. They have a show that they do on there called Hot Ones. It's kind of a mix of a interview and eating hot wings with progressively hotter hot sauces. Given what you've talked about hot sauce in the past, seems like something to be right up your alley. Later.
Yeah, man. I think I may do. If I ever get invited, I would totally do the hot wings challenge.
Now I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, Post Malone did one recently.
Post Malone
I
did,
watched
yeah.
him do it. It was actually really funny. Post Malone is actually a very funny, entertaining person to watch. He seems like one of the douchey next door neighbors that are like really sweet that you just have over chugging beers. Like he's so not. When you hear him talk, based on his music, you would think he'd be like.
Yeah.
Come off like he's Mr. Cool Guy. He's just so humble and he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a total chill dude.
I
I
don't
know him, but
He seems like one of those guys. Like I can't think of anybody who doesn't like him. Like like old people like
So
him,
likable.
young people like.
He's so likable.
Yeah.
He's really easy to watch. But yeah, he did the hot sauce challenge thing.
Yeah.
I just saw that.
Now
That's pretty
I think my theory is everyone on those challenges are huge pussies because like they're like it's so fucking like nothing I've ever tried on a wing has been too spicy to eat because you got the fucking chicken wing, the fat from the wing cuts into it a little bit.
They got some hot sauces.
Did you not hear this buzzer, Camilla? I said
What's
it's
the one?
not hot.
You gotta get the Mad Dog. That's why you gotta get
the Mad Dog is supposed to be like 9 million Scoville units. Okay, that does sound a little hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ron a long time ago invited me to do a YouTube show that he was working on where I ate the Trinidad Moruga scorpion pepper.
Yeah. You could still watch it. It's on Tasted. It's the Why Would You Eat That challenge.
Oh, I saw that.
That
You were in that. That's right.
Yeah, that was about 1.2 million Scoville
That was my
units.
show.
How'd that
we
go
did.
for you? Did
Hey,
you
pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's awful.
I think he took his shirt off. Didn't you take your shirt
Took
off?
his shirt off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he took his
Ron
shirt
ate it
off.
too.
Yeah, I ate it too. And then for the rest of the weekend, I could feel it going through my intestines one by one. It was awful.
It's like a GPS for pain. You know exactly where it is too.
The thing is hot sauces are even more dangerous because a pepper is a pepper. Like it exists in and of itself. But the hot sauces, you don't know how many peppers they've crushed up and concentrated. So like we also once drank Naga chili vodka, which is only I think 250,000 Scoville units. It's spicy vodka, and I remember we did a drinking game with the guys from Dead Kevin. It's a sketch group, and one of the guys drank it and then just immediately started vomiting.
Yeah.
I guess like it's pretty bad. It's like drinking fire.
That
Hey, you
sounds
can't.
awful.
You know what though? You can't get the calories if you're barfing it all out.
This is true.
Here's another voicemail. It's a suggestion for a topic we may do at some point. Listen to this.
You should do an episode on the most bullshit food fad. You know, like gluten-free and vegan, paleo, all that crap. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Okay,
I think we should do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really fun topic. We'll do that at some point. The most bullshit food. What is it?
Food fad.
Food fad.
I mean, it's
allergy. Yeah,
it's kind of amazing. Like there was a time in our history where people thought protein was bad for you. That was considered like a really bad. There was this doctor who was like protein was like the source of all people's like sickness.
and butter too. Like fats.
Yeah, they were saying margarine. Go margarine instead of
Food
butter.
history is. I think it's so fascinating. fascinating. I fucking love learning about it.
And there's kind of like there's like an interesting story about bananas. I think like how bananas came to be, and every few years there's another fucking article like, oh, bananas are going extinct. It's never fucking going extinct. It's some bullshit ass. It's some industry puff piece that they're putting in there so people buy more bananas. Here's another voicemail. Speaking of food, we talked about nuts, I guess, last week, and I kind of you and I, Ron, we both kind of shit on almonds a little bit because I said,
like raw almonds that aren't toasted.
Yeah,
I continue to shit on them.
Yeah,
it's like eating like weird plant shards.
Yeah, it is. Well, there's a voicemail about that. Listen to this.
All right, you sick fuck. What do you got against almonds? They just provide nutritional snacks. I mean, like literally, they're just a very healthy, delicious nut. I don't understand your reasoning here. All right.
It's
See you later.
It's not that they aren't tasty or delicious. It's more about the consistency of the almond. Toasted almonds, my fucking jam. Raw almonds, where it's like you have to break it up and you just feel like you're eating something that's going to cut into your gums. Now, if they're like crunched up and you're sprinkling them over stuff, great. You know, put on a little pasta with a little butter and garlic sauce. Awesome. But like eating an untoasted almond, you're like, what's the fucking point? Why am I doing this? I feel like I'm doing all the work. It's like fajitas.
You know, well, if you're eating an almond that's untoasted, it's raw, and it's like shattering in your mouth, you're eating a fucking stale almond, bro.
Yeah, it's just like eating like paste. Like it wears it down to this like soft paste in your mouth, and then you get to swallow it.
Oh, gross. Horrible when you put it that way. I remember how the topic came up because we were talking about the worst thing to eat ever is at a wedding, like wedding favors, are those candy covered almonds. They're just it's like glass. It breaks your teeth. It's horrible. And then even if you suck on it long enough to make it so that the center is soft enough to chew, then you're just eating a mealy almond.
Yeah, then you're just all of that guy in the corner of the party. What are you doing? Sucking on an almond?
Sucking on
no one's
nuts.
going to talk to you.
Yeah, gross. Here's one last voicemail about being authentic on YouTube.
Hey, this is Mike from Minnesota. I just watched your Authentic on YouTube episode. And one thing I kind of noticed is it seemed like you guys were focusing on current event sort of oriented channels, if I was understanding what you were describing. But you didn't really talk about other kinds of channels that maybe focus on a specific topic. So as far as the most authentic person I've seen on YouTube, I would check out Cody's Lab. A lot of his videos are fairly rough looking, but still very well done. And, you know, it's kind of a charm of his channel. He's been talking to his patrons about wanting to expand and hiring out for help. And people are kind of worried that he might lose a lot of that charm, because that's what part of what people really like with his stuff. So anyway, good debate. Can't wait for the next one. Later.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about this last episode, how it's really easy to shit on people on YouTube. You know, with like drama channels, it's so easy to just like pick someone apart. It's rare that you hear someone trying to lift someone up and he's saying, oh, well, this guy's channel's pretty cool. But he does make a point about authenticity, which is part of the appeal of the YouTube generation. And Dreadmere, I think you have this very much on your channel. You guys should subscribe to Dreadmere too. I keep forgetting, but you should definitely check out Dreadmere's channel. You've been doing these amazing commentary videos, and you also post them on Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. Check out his commentary videos. They're super good, and I mean this sincerely. Like, you're really coming into your own. Like, they're fun to watch. They're fascinating. There's one in particular that you had a couple days ago that I wanted to comment on, but I'm blanking at the moment. But check it out, guys. But with these channels, the appeal to YouTube and YouTube creators is that you feel like it's somebody who's sitting in their bedroom and they're just making content. And in many ways, that's exactly what it is. You feel like there is a connection between you and the creator. So when people become too big on YouTube and they start to get a production team behind them and they start getting higher quality optics and higher quality sound and production graphics and stuff like that, that charm and that feeling that you are one of them disappears. And so you start to feel like a disconnect between what you feel when you watch a late night talk show like Stephen Colbert. It's a very produced show. It doesn't feel like you have any connection with him because he's like a big celebrity, big movie star. Yeah. I think that's the argument that he was making.
Yeah. I think it's like, I think the weight of that would fall on the responsibility, or the weight of that would fall on your personality. I think your personality is the anchor that can carry you through, the shitty webcam in your bedroom all the way to a spot on a late night show like Stephen Colbert has. I think people do he does resonate with people on a personal level, but if it's only if his personality can come through and shine through in that way. And then sometimes people lose that. I think you're right. Like sometimes people do end up becoming fake or whatever, or produced and influenced by other things. But for the most part, I think if you're authentic in your personality, that's where the longevity comes from. That's where like you're it's going to stay.
There are like so many people on like even just Instagram like that will like do promo for their videos, like a singer, let's say, and I'll see videos where you can tell people put so much money into like putting on this dope video and like a shit ton of money in promo because it has a bunch of views, but the comments are all like, "This sucks."
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it sucks.
I remember
we're not connecting with you. The music sucks. But
Right.
the shitty little one of this girl in her living room who has an amazing voice and didn't,
Right.
People.
What was that? What are they called? The MLMs or whatever, like the group of YouTube creators would be all part of like a certain group.
Oh yeah,
MCN?
And then they would like, because I remember when I was on that show on Tasted, and we would like to spread the word about Tasted, they would just pay the MCN like a ton of money, and then YouTubers would just happen to casually mention it in their vlog, be like, "Hey man, you guys should check out Tasted. They got some like, dude, they have this one video with the pepper," and they would like, and you think it's like this authentic thing, and it's like, no, it's because like they paid them like $300 to talk about it for like 30 seconds.
You should disclose that. I feel like if you're paid, you should be.
I mean, I think that's becoming more the normal, but that was like a couple of years ago when all this stuff was starting to happen, and no one was really. But and that's how people grew their channels. They would just throw a bunch of money at like a couple hundred YouTubers.
Yeah,
I think
it's still happening.
Yeah, it's still happening.
And Instagram,
Very
that's like
much.
the big thing now. Is like people just have like products that happen to be in the shot,
and people aren't disclosing that, and it's because
a lot of people ask me where I get my butt. Because I do a lot of butt pics.
Oh, yeah.
Instagram
Okay.
on Hey Ron, and it's like, so I just have like, because it's really juicy and round. So a lot of people are wondering like, how's your butt so juicy and round? And it's probably my number one biggest thing that I on my Instagram.
Ron, idea, okay, new branding for yourself. Ron Squat Cock.
Just me doing squats.
Yeah, I'm in.
Squat cock.
Did I tell you once that I was walking naked at my house, and my girlfriend once went, "Oh, look at you! You got a little cutting board butt." And I swear to God, I started doing more squats. At first, I was like,
Oh my God.
Yeah. You cut onions on it, make you cry.
Yeah.
But then I realized cutting board butt is like,
No, it's not
flat.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anytime you're naked and somebody starts a sentence with "aw," usually
Dude, it's
not gonna make you feel good. By the
You
end
just
of
drop
it.
and start doing push-ups.
See, so you could have been very depressed by that comment and taken a bad turn, but instead you decided, you know what? I'm gonna look at
rage squat in the morning for 2 minutes.
I'm gonna look at these Instagram models and take a tip from them.
Yeah. And good thing it was just one girlfriend, and it was coming from a place of sincerity and love, and not 800,000 trolls who were trying to cut you down and tear you down and make you kill yourself. But
Hashtag cutting board butt.
Yeah.
tit for tat, I guess. It's basically the same thing. Guys, we should get some quick news headlines. I got some fun ones this week. Nudist beach surfer punches shark to escape attack. How fucking? Speaking of nude,
Nudist beach surfer?
he's a nudist beach surfer. So I guess he was just surfing naked.
I mean, that sounds like it'd be so much goddamn fun.
Yeah, man. A surfer who got bitten by a shark at an Australian nudist beach managed to make his break for freedom after punching the creature until it let him go, he said Saturday. I like how they said the creature. He just kept punching the creature. Paul Kenny was riding off the waves off Samurai Beach. What a cool beach.
Dude,
Samurai Beach.
Of course he's surfing at Samurai Beach naked.
I like to surf naked at Samurai Beach.
Yeah.
You guys know it?
Yeah, and he punched a shark. What a fucking... This is the manliest story ever. A naturist spot 200 kilometers or 125 miles north of Sydney when he accidentally clashed heads with the toothsome fish. Reportedly, a wabagong or a bull shark. Yeah, how about bull shark?
Bull shark.
He's like whimsical Australian terms for things. A wabagong? A wabagong? Wabagong?
Alice in Wonderland character.
Yeah, it sounds kind of silly. But anyway, it's a bull shark. Let's stick with bull shark. That's manlier. So anyway, he punched a bull shark. As soon as I did that, he latched onto my arm, and all I could do was punch it until it let go, said Kenny. 50-year-old guy. Punching a shark. Fucking badass. When I let go of it, I saw its dorsal fin 1 meter away. I walked backwards as quick as I could and caught whatever wave I could. A local ambulance service spokesman told AFP that the paramedics treated Kenny for wounds to his upper right arm before he was taken to a nearby hospital. He was treated for having balls that were too big and was released with an apology note because the doctors couldn't do anything to help as he was just too manly. I added that last part.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
You got...
Yeah, we got it.
Balls too big?
Good ending.
Good joke. Sex robot gets 92 Tinder matches in 2 hours. Huh.
Honestly, I thought that was kind of low.
Yeah.
Did it only swipe 92 times? Is that why?
I guess, yeah, huh?
Well,
92 times.
Tinder's like the what? Most people just like go right.
How does that? How does Tinder work? What is
you swipe right if you like him. You swipe left if you think they should be lit on fire.
Yeah. Millions of people go on dating apps for some human warmth now and then. For some, though, human isn't necessarily part of the equation. Again, this copy is just... Mwah. This is from RT, the propaganda website. And it is a propaganda website. I don't know. What do you think of Dreadmere? RT?
Sex robots.
RT, some serious... Like, anytime there's anything wrong with America, it's like the big headline in RT. Like, oh, there was a riot broke out in Philadelphia. You tune in, and you're like, 2 people got in a fist fight. Anyway, a realistic sex robot has garnered almost 100 matches on Tinder in just 2 hours. An experiment was conducted by a filmmaker working on a film about sex brothels. Sex robot brothels. I didn't even know that was a thing. Sex robot brothels? So why are you calling it a brothel? Because the robot's not a prostitute. It's just a machine. You're just having sex with a machine. It's not a brothel.
More like a sex arcade.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a sex arcade.
Yeah, and I'm not even 100% confident in the hygiene of a laser tag center, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty
I'm into
weird.
that. I don't want to put my fucking fingers in a hole in a bowling ball. Let alone...
I mean, granted, it might be cleaner than going to an actual brothel. Who knows?
No, I
Maybe
don't think
that's
so.
what they could probably sanitize.
Can you imagine
in
the
there.
guy who's like, "Yeah, my job is to hose out the sex robots after they're done with them."
Well, you can't really sanitize a prostitute.
Yeah, I just pour a bunch of
You could
bleach in there.
sanitize a plastic doll.
Fun,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
it might be.
fun fact, it's the same spray they use for bowling ball shoes.
Right. Okay.
Same smell, too.
Actually, you actually go up to it. You go up to a counter and you say, "I'm a size 9," and then they give you the doll.
Yeah, Marv.
Wow, it's the same building.
Yeah, same building. Speaking to the Daily Star, Mihail said that he picked a prime time and prime place, 9 to 11 p.m. on a Friday night on the Lower East Side in Manhattan. A stunning 92 men in the vicinity swiped right. It's not like they could have easily thought Harmony was human. Oh, yeah, so he posts a picture of this robot that's on Tinder. There's one picture where it's kind of like, head on, and she looks kind of human. You can still tell something's off. Like, if I met a girl with skin like this, I'd be like, you want to go to the doctor for our first date? Like, something's wrong with you. I don't know what it is. I don't even want to have sex with you. I'm just concerned about your health. So one of the pictures, I'm going to show this on cam if you guys can see it, but it shows her exposed cranium with a robotic brain in there. He said Mihail provided clearly that she had a robotic brain on display, and the profile right below the images clearly laid all the cards on the table. Now I'm showing everyone in the room this picture, and you can see the back of her head is open, and there's almost like a glass bulb where you can see.
Okay, I don't fuck this guy. No, because first of all, like, people post dumb shit on Tinder all the time. That's not their real selves. It's just an indication of their personality. And you're like, oh shit, that's funny. This dude posted a fucking coat rack. Ha! I'm totally going to swipe right. So they could just be swiping right. They're not swiping right on the fucking doll. They're swiping right on this girl who posts this like robot sex doll as her main photo. And this guy's like, oh, they posted it because they want to fuck this doll. It's
Okay,
like,
Ron.
You jump into it, man.
I'll give you one of these.
I also fucking swiped right on her. What's the big deal?
Very defensive, Ron.
I want to fuck a robot.
Yeah, very defensive. Well, I would give you points for that, Ron, but this guy, the researcher, actually confronted these men who swiped right on this robot. And yet, when confronted by Mayhill about their choice, 17 of them said that they would want to have sex with the robot.
17 of them say they want to have sex with the sex robot. Maybe
Yeah.
we should stop shaming.
Yeah.
It looks expensive.
Cyber shaming.
So
well, I mean, if you're going to do it for free for research, wouldn't you bang a bot?
I feel like they're not even looking at the glass bulb head. The thing has like huge tits, so I don't know how long they're looking at it, but they're just like, okay, that's like whatever it is.
This robot said yes when the producer said, "Would you consider a boob job?"
Yeah.
They're probably super excited because I feel like most people that would swipe right were probably not getting swipe
Yeah, they weren't getting
rated by
matches.
other people.
They're probably
It's like,
bunch of
robot, they
neckbeards.
can't
Yeah.
not.
Just playing the
like,
odds,
yeah,
man. I'm just covering the table.
Just saying.
15 said maybe, and 25 back down. Only 25 back down.
It's not bad.
I mean, half the messaging in our society is like, do things, do one thing every day that scares you. Don't be afraid to live life. Do things that make you feel uncomfortable.
Fuck a
Hey,
robot.
I'll fuck a robot. You fucking pervert.
Yeah.
Well, here's something that this should make all of us scared. China plans to launch an artificial moon to light up night skies.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
This sounded like one of those like weird, crazy offbeat things that'll never happen. But the more I read about this, it sounds like they have a real plan, and it's supposed to happen by 2020. The night skies might soon have company. Chinese scientists are planning to launch an artificial moon into orbit by 2020 to illuminate city streets after dark. Scientists are hoping to hang the man-made moon
into orbit.
Yeah.
That's going to be the end of the world.
So how's it going to keep the sky? How's it going to keep the streets lit? How big is this fucking moon?
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's not a moon.
It's supposed to just illuminate one city, supposedly. It's supposed to be the city of Chengdu.
So it's not going to orbit if it... I mean, I guess it's going to orbit just above the city the whole time?
I guess, because you can put it in geospatial orbit. I think it's geospatial orbit, so it's consistent with one spot on the planet at all times. So it will be over the city called Chengdu, China. It's the capital of China's southwestern Sichuan province, according to a report in Chinese state media. The imitation celestial body, essentially an illuminated satellite, will bear a reflective coating to cast light back down to Earth, where it will supplement streetlights at night. Scientists estimated that it could be 8 times more luminous than the actual original moon. I like how they added the adjective original. Yeah, we know which moon you're talking about. It will also orbit much closer to Earth at about 310 miles away compared to 236,000 miles for the actual moon. So this is like, you could get there on a rocket to this artificial moon in under a day, probably. I think that might be the range of like weather balloons, isn't it? No, weather balloons probably pop around 25 miles. I think that's... Wu estimated that new moons could save the city of Chengdu around 1.2 billion yuan, or $173 million in electricity costs annually. If the project proves successful, it could be joined by 3 more additions to the night sky in 2022. We're going to have a bunch of fucking creepo moons staring back at us. It's like that weird Zelda game, Majora's Mask.
All the like space junk that's up there.
Yeah.
I don't like
I mean, maybe that's at a different orbit.
Yeah, we're just adding to it. What do you think of that, Dreadmere?
Yeah, Dreadmere, what do you think of that?
So these people are like, oh, we should, everything's personal choice and we can do whatever we want. What if a government, before you're even born, decides they're going to put a fucking artificial moon in the sky? What do you have? What say do you have in that?
Then you're living in a system under duress.
You think that they shouldn't do that?
If it's the government doing it, then yeah, you're living in a system where people are making decisions for you, I guess.
What if a company wants to do it?
Well,
Ooh, yeah,
if,
what if it's a cool company?
If a company wants to put a billboard on the moon, that's fine.
You think that's okay?
Yeah.
What if they want to take over the entire moon?
I mean, it's a property that somebody can find and have. Like, why not? I don't see any problem with that.
So just whatever rich billionaire is able to get there first just takes it over, and like that's it.
Yeah.
I guess it's Facebook's moon now. It's Facebook moon.
Do you believe in like sanctuaries, like marine sanctuaries or national parks or things like that, where like certain areas of the ocean are not allowed to be fished in?
Yeah. What about it?
You do
believe those like? I mean, would you say that that is an appropriate use of governmental power, or would you say like that's an overstepping it?
That's overstepping it. The proper use of government is to protect you and your rights. It is supposed to protect you, your rights, and your property. So if somebody comes and violates any of those rights, the government's job is to step in. That is the beginning and the end of its power. That's it. It doesn't go any further than that. It doesn't regulate your Facebook.
So if let's say companies, there's no sanctuaries for ocean and things are overfished,
then things get overfished. I mean, it's like it's not our job to protect random life, like random sea life and wildlife. These things have gone extinct. They go extinct all the time. It's not our job to regulate that. Animals are essentially, and I know this is a very controversial thing to say, and I don't like saying it, but it's true that animals are property. And I don't like people being mean to animals personally, but
animals are property. Oh, you disagree?
I know that's a very callous thing to say, because I like dogs. I don't like people hurting dogs, but but they're property. So
don't hurt your property.
Right, exactly. Like, well, I don't.
Simple. I solved it.
But
as property, you don't hurt.
But as far as wildlife goes and all these things, like, unfortunately, those things, like, people can use them however they choose to.
Yeah, but you shouldn't deprive another person or company of their resources.
It's a first come, first serve.
Really?
That's how it works.
So do you think that companies should just be able to dump their waste into rivers? Sorry, everyone down the stream. Fuck you.
If it violates your right to live, then obviously not.
Well, I mean, yeah. Why can't I just be a Dreadmere and come along and say, "Oh, sorry, you don't like the water. Go somewhere." And now be in Nebraska. Dude, my Rucka voice. If you don't like the water, just go drink from another source.
It definitely gets complicated if you want an even better example, when there's smog in the air, and then now we're breathing all this smog. Like, yeah, there are definitely complicated areas, but for the most part, it's a first come first serve. If somebody wants to utilize a resource, so long as that resource and their production of it is not impeding your right to live or your right to property, they're allowed to do it.
That is such an open, like, as long as it's not impeding your right, that is like
so open interpretation. And here's the problem with this argument of like government's only role. And Camila, I want to hear if you have any thoughts on this, but government's only role being to protect you or your rights or the country, right? Well, what if, and this is actually a real world example, what if someone makes the case that, you know who I think is a threat? Iraq. Maybe we should invade them. Because I think that Iraq's going to be a threat to our rights and our liberties. You know who else I think is a threat? Everyone who's Islamic. I think South America is a threat. You can make a case that anyone's a threat. Like, really, you can bastardize any philosophy that at its core, like, yeah, government should protect our rights. Great, we're all on board with that.
You can, but we're talking about a system with objective principles. So what you're presenting is an abstract concept with no context.
Principles.
What you need to have is context. If there is a country that is invading or threatening the use of force, which is force, then absolutely it is our job to neutralize that force and make it a point to know that anybody who even thinks about or decides to do that, we are going to respond with the utmost of our power so that it doesn't happen.
Yeah, very, very simple, very reasonable. There was no debate when the Iraq War happened. Everyone's like, yeah, clearly they're a threat, so we should invade them. Everyone was on board with it.
Objectively, it should go further than that. Like, you need to protect yourself. There is no middle of the road, whatever the hell that means. You need to protect.
But you have to put your trust in this government, right? And this government, you trust that they have access to intelligence, and their intelligence is trustworthy. And based on their intelligence, you're putting your faith in these people because they can't disclose it. They can't talk to the public and say what intelligence they have and what their methods are and so on and so forth. You just have to trust that they're saying, yeah. They're a threat. They're a threat to our freedoms. They're a threat to our rights. We're going to invade them.
Yeah. Again, this is a government that operates under a set of objective principles.
Principles are defined by people.
That's
people decide what principles are. That is by definition subjective.
It is not subjective. Principles are objective. Principles, there are objective principles. If the subjective principles means that Nazis had principles, all right, they weren't good.
They did have principles.
They were wrong.
They had bad principles.
They were the wrong ones, implying that there are right ones. The right ones are the ones that the government that protects your property would have.
There is no right or wrong. There's good and bad. And that's different. Right is something that everybody agrees, like, okay, here's something that's right. What do you think, Camila? Is there such thing as a right principle and wrong principle, or just a good principle and a bad principle?
It's so much deeper than I guess.
Yeah, that's what we do. We throw this little curveball at all our guests right at the end. You thought this was going to be a fun debate about depression?
Damn, and I'm so good at talking about depression.
Yeah.
No, I think, I think there are right and wrong principles, but I base that on what I think is right or wrong.
And that is subjective.
Let me put it to you this way.
Yes.
You have a friend who is dating an abusive partner.
Mm-hmm.
Their partner is abusing them every day.
Yeah.
This happens all the time where people don't break up with that partner. They stick with this person who's cheating on them, physically, emotionally abusing them.
Right.
Is your advice, well, subjectively, that's the kind of relationship they want to have. It's not up to me to decide whether or not they like it. You know, objectively, this is a person that should not be with an abusive person. This is not the right thing for them to do, yet they continue to choose to do it under complete delusion that they should stay with this person. You know what the right choice is. There are right choices to be made, and it is your job to judge. That's why I said I like that you use judgments a lot. You need to judge a situation and decide if there is a right decision to be made here, and there is. There always is.
So in that example, would you advocate? And I agree. You know, that's a bad relationship or position to put yourself in. But in that example, would you advocate that somebody should come in and forcefully bust up that relationship?
No, but if this person is coming to you, but the point is that it exists. Like that there is a right choice to be made. They may not follow your lead, they may not listen to you or take your advice, but you can offer them, Rucka's favorite new word, you can offer them the right solution, and they can choose to take. I've been offering you guys all the right solutions this entire episode. Now you can choose to stay with your abusive
I still can't
Facebook
get over
girlfriend.
The whole, don't believe in a marine safe thing, so places don't get overfished. It's like the theory of the overworked commons. You know, when you have If everyone can work an area, everybody goes to their ability, like their needs. So everybody has this like me first mentality, and it just ruins it for the long term because everybody satisfies their short term desires. And then it's like, then you're fucked. Then it's like, well, we don't have those fish anymore.
Yeah, I got a super chat here from someone in the chat room. New World Order for $2 says, this guy doesn't understand ecology. And again, his username is New World Order.
His username is No World Order.
No World Order. Oh, my bad. We got Michael Mouse in the chat room. We got another one from Pavage Babin for $2 when he was talking about the robot that swiped right on Tinder. He says, that bot turns my floppy disk into a hard drive.
That's good. Clever.
Good joke.
It's pretty good.
It was a pretty good joke. Anyway, guys, we should probably wrap this up.
Also, I want to fuck it.
Yeah. We should wrap this up. Me, Dreadmere, and Rucka got Korean barbecue the other night.
Oh, yeah.
And the conversation very quickly turned into just a podcast episode. It was so great because it was the exact same kind of cadence that we used to do, and we're just like yelling at each other at the top of our lungs in this Korean barbecue. Yeah. And Rucka's like making inappropriate jokes, and I hit him back with an inappropriate joke, and everyone at the table got quiet. Everyone's so I'm the asshole now. Everyone's always busting on me, Camila, for everything.
Well, there's always context. So.
Yeah. The context is everyone's just being a jerk. Camila, once again, thank you for joining us. Where can people find you?
Check me out online. If you just type in Camila Paiva music, you can find all my sites. I'm on Spotify and on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
my Facebook sucks though. Check out my Instagram.
Yeah, Facebook's garbage. Yeah, Facebook's garbage. We all agree on that.
Yeah.
And Dreadmere, where can people find you?
You can find me at Dreadmere, Dreadmere, on all social media platforms. All of them: Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. Yeah. Wait, not Spotify. Instagram, Twitter. I'm on all those things. Yeah.
You're good that you have a unique name that you were able to get that across the board on everything. Yeah. I had to like hodgepodge my shit together. Like my Twitter's like Maddox Rules, my Instagram's real. Mostly it's real Maddox, but Twitter's Maddox Rules, just because like I think I made it when I was 12.
There's about like a million Camila Paivas, and they're all like Brazilian, either porn stars or like supermodels. All of them.
Damn.
Yeah, Google Camila Paiva without the music at the end, and it's pretty funny.
Same thing with Ron Babcock.
I bet.
Yeah.
I totally
total
bet.
hot bros.
Yeah.
Not Ron Squat Cock, though. You don't want to Google that one.
Yeah,
I get to own all those usernames.
Yeah. And Ron, where can people find you?
Hey, Ron on Instagram, Ron Babcock on Twitter, and you can just listen to my album for free on Spotify right now. It's called This Guy.
It's fantastic. We've been linking to it on the last couple weeks. Yeah, it's great. Check it out, guys, and you know where to find me. But once again, thank you.
You're listening to the Madcast Media Network.
You sack of shit. You fucked up the ending. Don't edit this out.
There we go.
Own your mistakes.
Maybe I'll leave that in.
Yeah.
So once again, Camila, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Wonderful having you. Check out our music. Thank you to Dreadmere.
Yeah.
Thank you to the Rear Admiral of Tangents, Ron Babcock.
Thank you.
But most of all, you're welcome.
Hey, this message is for Ron. Actually, I'm an avid audiobook listener, so that Fuck! God damn it!
Hey there. Don't forget to subscribe to Madcast shows on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Okay, bye. Madcast Media Network.